Hi everyone, welcome back to Kats Creations, where as promised tonight, we are going to build I'm trying to figure out how,
The brother
of the sister that's hanging on the door. So we did this in my private group earlier today, so we're gonna finish by making her brother, which should be perfect for a set of double doors. This is actually the first design I've conceived that would work well for double doors. It would also work well if you got them just for a single door. But I think making them slightly different, but part of a set, makes it look appealing to people who are looking for something to put on their double door, rather than just buying two wreaths to put them up. These are different, but part of a set. So if you're new for the first time joining us, let us know where you're from. We'd like to welcome you. Matter of fact, can we just do a simple roll call for everyone? Well, everyone just let us know where you're from, because sometimes we have a lot of people who watch but don't necessarily comment, and you never know. You might find someone who is a crafting creative like yourself that lives fairly close to you. That's how I've made a lot of my crafting friends. And then again, I've made crafting friends all over the United States and all over the world, so it's kind of fun. If you want to be notified when we go live, make sure that you click like and follow this page. That way, when you're watching the live, you can tap on the video. Upper right hand corner, you'll find three little dots. Click those dots, it'll open up a sub menu that allows you to go ahead and click on the option where it says turn on or turn off live notifications. Just make sure that that is set for turn on live notifications. Also, if you're in YouTube, this is a Facebook Live from Sunday, August the 1st, the year 2021. 5 months remaining of 2021, kind of hard to believe. Let's see what else. If you like this design and want to go pick up all the stuff, which is pretty much all at Hobby Lobby, you can go ahead and click the share button. It'll share it to your page, and then you'll have the tutorial to walk yourself through how to put one of these together. I think that's it.
Hi gals. So there's a lot of gals jumping on, and there's too many to say, but they are saying where they're from and saying hi.
Nice.
The first one is a Jula. It's Gulla Johns.
Okay.
From Iceland.
Wow. Okay,
So,
I can honestly
welcome.
say that's the first Iceland viewer we have, so that's super fun.
So
Okay.
welcome.
I think you're gonna see all the comments. For some reason, I'm not seeing them all, and I think it's because I'm on the landscape view. There we go. I got them all. I'm gonna shut this down. Okay, so let's get started. I spent the morning cleaning this is a 22-inch oval grapevine. As you can tell, it's a very narrow oval. I don't know why some are getting so skinny, but it's perfect for the Scarecrow to fit nestled right inside. So the grapevine, the Scarecrow, and all the florals came from Hobby Lobby. So at the time when I went shopping, nobody knew when they were going to throw all their fall at 40% off. Now it's all on 40% off. So you can get all your supplies, if they're still available, to put this design together and save yourself quite a bit of money. So the first thing that we, like I said, would normally do is clean the grapevine. And so your two best tools to do that are your wire cutters and, believe it or not, I think I put it away already, is a butter knife. I know butter knife, right? Highly technical tool. But a butter knife is great to help you get all the dead leaves out, all the pine needles, and then from time to time you'll find pine branches in there as well. I don't like those in my grapevine, so I'll actually dig through and pull those out. But you want to make sure that you don't have any branches or any protruding pieces, both on the top and on the bottom, and then you're ready to go. So if you take the extra time to do that, number one, it's going to give your customer quite a bonus, because they're not going to get a bonus box of debris. As that stuff settles, it's all going to kind of shimmy out to the bottom. So by doing the extra cleaning work, it kind of eliminates that from happening. Also, when you get ready to put all of your florals in, then it gives you room for your florals to kind of move in through the grapevine. And grapevines are actually my most favorite design to do. So
Okay, yeah, both these grapevines were from Hobby Lobby.
Yep, exactly. I tried to find ones that matched about as best as I could. Now, normally what we do in the past is weight was everything. So we would always go to the bottom. We would, pop the seam on the bottom, pull the gravel or the little rocks that go on the shelf sitters to keep them sitting up straight. But now with the dimensional right shipping, you don't have to do that. So it kind of makes for a nice weighted piece. So I'm not going to be removing the gravel or pebbles or rocks that are at the bottom. We're just going to go ahead and wire him in, which is the first step in doing this. So I'm going to use 22 gauge wire, and I'm going to cut off a fairly generous piece, and we're going to start from the bottom, and we are going to, you don't want to grab the plastic and the rocks underneath, but just enough of the material, and we want to work our wires through. I think when we did this in our live, this was like the most challenging part, was getting our wire to go through
And
and
those
not
scarecrows
bend.
were harmed during the filming of this video.
Yeah, right? Okay. I have it. There we go. Sometimes you just need skinnier hands. So it's in the bottom. We'll give it a couple twists just to make sure that's wired in there. And then another bonus of having your wreaths already cleaned is it makes getting your wire through fairly easy. So I am just going to run my wire down. So I'm just taking my wire and running it down through.
Well,
Trying to
thank
make
you,
it straight.
Sharon. Sharon's always been awesome. She sent another 50 stars.
Oh, thank you, Sharon. So stars, right? Those are fairly new. What stars are is your way of tipping your favorite wreath maker. So each star is basically 1 cent. So when you do 100 stars, that's like $1 tip. So we're just going to take this, make sure he's seated pretty well in there, give him a couple good twists.
And it means a lot.
It does, it means the world. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cut this one off. We have to secure him in 2 other places just to make sure he doesn't tip over. So I'm going to take my wire and I'm bending all this in so we have no sharp edges. I'm going to go ahead and wire his hand to the outside because we're going to be building this wreath opposite of this one. So all the floral is going to go up the left side of this wreath and not the right side. So now I need to make sure that he doesn't flop backwards into the design. Granted, when he sits on the door, it probably won't pose much of an issue, but it looks nicer if we can get him all wired in. So this way he doesn't move. He doesn't fall forward. He doesn't fall backwards. So we're going to wire him in a couple places. So I'm giving them plenty of twists. We'll go ahead and cut that off. Take my needle nose and then bend that so it is back into the center of the grapevine. We're going to flip him over here. And I'm going to do the same thing with his arm. And I'm just going to attach it to the really big branch right here. Again, it's just to prevent him from falling forwards or backwards. It helps give him some stability and keeps him upright. And this, I don't have to worry about whether or not this particular piece of wire is going to show because we'll have all of our floral here. So that's why it's critical to get him in first.
Congrats, Pam, on retiring. Can't stand. Said
Nice
hello. I
job.
haven't watched in quite a while. Retired last May and just got back from vacation.
Nice
So,
going.
Yeah, congrats.
So we're gonna move that all the way in. So now he's all situated, so he doesn't flop. He doesn't rock backwards and forwards. So now,
Ryan asked, do you still use a 24 by 24 by 6 box to ship that size grapevine?
great. I think I can get it in a 22. So if we look at the dimensions of 22, this is 24 where it ends here. Here's 22. So see, if you put it on a diagonal, you can probably get it in an 18-inch box because here's 18.
Yeah, 22 twice to be safe.
Yeah, so you just have to try it and see how it fits in that diagonal. So that's the benefit you have of working with the grapevines on a diagonal. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay in my Meadow greens. These are like greens and berries. Want to make sure we get all the price tags out. So again, these were Hobby Lobby. All the florals are from Hobby Lobby. So I just want to make sure all traces of this are gone. Then because we don't need the entire length of the stem, we're going to go ahead and trim the end off. There's that. I'm going to take this off. Don't want to grab the very end. There we go. And we are going to fan these out a bit. We need something to go a little bit high. So I'm going to just be placing these for comparison to what the other one looks like. So there's the unique side of that is getting them all to match. So I'm going to double check these. I think this is about where they need to go. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. I'm going to put a generous amount of glue on the end, quite a bit. And then we're going to work this down into our grapevine and then fan these out so we have some movement. We're going to do the same thing on this side. And slide this back up in here. There's that. So there is our base for this particular design, at least the starting point. So the one thing you always remember is when you're going to be using a bow, the width of your bow is going to be the width of the size of your hand. So my bow is going to go right about here. I think it's right about her head length, maybe a little bit higher. So I'm going to do the same thing here. So the first thing I'm going to do is lay in some, these are oak leaves. So we're going to cut some of these off. And we're going to put these to the outside of our design. Get one more set. Just like that. And then these are all going to go around the outside edge. So let me spin this around so you guys can see. I'm just going to be taking my oak leaves and just outlining this edge, because this is the edge that we're going to build all of our floral on. So you don't want to waste expensive floral, you know, kind of filling the underside of your wreath or your outer edge. So I'm just going to lay these in. Just like so. Okay. And we're just focusing on the outside because we have our scarecrow on the inside. And we'll just kind of angle them down as they go. Couple more. Okay. Let's see. one more right here in the middle. It's always challenging sometimes to get them to go in, because you don't want to burn yourself. So wooden skewers work wonders. Okay, so there is our outline of what we've done. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this giant pick that came from Hobby Lobby, and we're gonna break the entire pick down. So we're gonna pull everything apart. This is the nice thing about picks, is you can break them down and use the pieces scattered throughout the design. Is he stuck? Watching my cat try to figure out how to navigate his way off the table.
A big cat.
A very large cat. So we have berries. So let's pull these all apart. We have our hay, our raffia straw, which is great for this design. Grab a couple more of these. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with this big one. I'm going to break it down into 3. We're going to save the pumpkin because we thought these pumpkins would look great, which they do, but this particular design needs something a little bit smaller. So we have a white pumpkin for that. Here's another pick from Hobby Lobby. This is called Berries and Brown Leaves. Why? Because they're berries with brown leaves. So we're doing the same thing. Breaking all these apart. There we go. Here's our brown leaves. These will go in afterwards. The brown leaves will. They get added in with our bow. So as you can see, you get quite a few picks once you break things down. So a lot of times you go to look at a pick and you're like, that's like, this doesn't seem like there's an awful lot there. But then when you pull them all apart, you see how many you actually have. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in and add our raffia, and that's gonna go in right on top of our meadow flowers.
Jody, both scarecrows are from Hobby Lobby.
So my goal is to
as
get
well as the wreath.
Under the branch. Don't want to get burned because the glue on the glue pot is very hot. And we're going to do the same with the other side. This one's going to go right in on top. And if you have any wayward raffia that aren't doing what you'd like, you can go ahead and trim those up with scissors afterwards. I wait until we put everything else in and then go ahead and trim up anything that I don't necessarily like. So I'm going to come in and add some berries to the outside. So we can bring these in. This is where you kind of get creative and you can make your own look. Bring this one in here. So it doesn't look like you just have two pieces stacked one on top of the other. Here's that. So I'm just alternating from the top to the bottom. Go.
Thank you, Jody. It's all Kat.
What's that?
She said you both are doing a good job.
Oh, thank you. No, that's true. Without you, then I'd have to stop and read. Huh?
But you can still do it.
Help it. You make it easier. Let's just put it that way.
Hi, Brenda. I hope you're doing good. Brenda Bracken's watching.
Oh, hey, how are you? So see how we're just laying things in? So I'm going to add a couple pieces to the top so our berries blend a little bit better. Just like so. This is why grapevines are so much fun. It's also why your glue pots are a necessity, because you can recycle all the glue that you have everywhere.
Any questions?
Here's our last piece. Okay, kind of come up here a little bit. This one. Okay. Now we're going to come in with the little, I don't know what you want to call it. It's like a branch that's kind of dusted with, I don't know what you call it. It's part of the pick, so it doesn't tell me specifically what it is. So I'm going to just kind of take things and weave it in so it doesn't look like I just laid it on top of something.
Dahlia asked, could I use an 18-inch round grapevine to create something like this?
Absolutely. You just have more of a bigger space to work with. So you just have, it'll be shorter, but you just go more on a C look.
And you have to figure out how to anchor and keep the scarecrow sitting up.
Yeah, because you've got, like, mine worked out perfect because their arms are so short.
Yeah. And the ovals work out good.
Right. Okay, again, we're going to move stuff around so it doesn't have that static look. And then I'm constantly going to be coming over here and looking at this to make sure that I hit a pretty good match with this other design. So this one is down towards the bottom. So we're going to add that under. Pull our berries up a little bit. Okay. Then the next pick I'm going to break apart, as these go in our bow, is this pick, which is kind of fun. So look at all the individual pieces you get here. So you have, get what these long things are called. When you look this up, I think it just says fall berries and leaves. So we're going to pull all these off.
Along with the wheat.
Yeah, along with the wheat. So it's just nice to have a lot of different textures. They make for great picks. Placing them in your wreath. And then this one. Okay. This one I remember, we had to pick it up because I put that in as like an afterthought. So I'm just gonna add my glue. I'm gonna flip this around. I'm gonna pick up all my berries. I'm gonna tuck these leaves in. And then fan these all out so that we have these 3 different colors. It's kind of like a light green, kind of a sage color. So hard to build this, so I'm doing it so that you guys can see. Okay, now I'm going to come in and we're going to do the same thing like what we did with the berries. We're going to add some more textures with these things. whatever these are called besides berries. There we go. Helping feed it all the way in. Got another one. Kind of go off to the side here. Okay. Make sure we grab all the glue. I prefer to let the glue dry, so if it drapes across something and it's wet, wait for it to dry just a few minutes, and then you can just peel it off. And that way it doesn't disturb or ruin any of your designs. Okay, this, we're coming in here. So I'm gonna work with a really large branch to kind of get everything in place. Let's get this to go behind. There we go. Okay, funny things, these things. So I have one draping over, so I need to have one come in here. So we're gonna add our glue. I'm going to find an opening for it. I'm gonna add that right in. And I'm like, I know we had another one in here. I have one here. Where did we put the other one? Oh, it's right here. Okay. So down towards the bottom of it. Okay. Now, these. I have a couple here at the top. So this one should be fun to fit in. That. I know we have another one coming in here, and then one to the bottom outside. Okay, bottom outside it is. There's that one. That's in. The outside. I actually like this to the inside. Okay. Now we have our wheat. Where do we add the wheat? Oh, it's up in here. Okay. Wheat is in here.
Evelyn, you could PM Kat, but she's going to start doing 4 classes for the private group starting next month, right?
Starting now. Starting now.
Starting now.
Starting
right.
August.
Starting
So
August.
yeah, today starts Sunday. So tomorrow, in lieu of our business class, it's design class. So you have an extra tutorial every week now.
So it's still Sundays and Mondays.
Still Sundays and Mondays. Okay, now we figured out what the name of this was when we went live before. This is called sour gum. To me, it just looks like furry cattails. Again, Hobby Lobby. There's 3 of them. We're gonna cut down the pig because we don't need very many. We have one that's here. We have one that's here. I didn't know we have another one a little bit towards the bottom. So we're gonna use all 3. So this one, I'm gonna hold off on that because we put the bow in next, I believe. So I'm gonna go ahead and make my bow so that we can get that done and then we can backfill everything else. So, bow, bow, bow. we are using, let's see if I can remember this from earlier. Which one went first? Which one went second? So
All 1.5 inches.
I know it's all 1.5 inches. We used the white stitching first. So all 1.5 inches. I do remember my dimensions. Because this is a smaller wreath, we can't go way crazy. And in order to keep it looking aesthetically pleasing, you don't want to do 2.5 inch. So I picked 5 different colors that coordinate. So this is a tan with raised white stitching. Get all these berries off the counter so they don't go in with our bow. There we go. And we're gonna go 9 inches. Was it 9? 9.5. 9.5. And then there were 4.5 inch loop. So this ribbon is from 5th Street Studio. They have their own website. It's Shop 5th Street. So we want 4.5. So we're gonna do 2 at 4.5, 2 at 4, and 1 at 3.5. In order to give it the same look we want. Okay, 9.5. Okay, dovetail is just bringing your wired edges together. You're going to cut from the folded side all the way down to the point. That gives you a really perfect dovetail. So there's 1. Then we are going to add this diagonal plaid, which is from Craft Outlet. And this one's going to be at 9 inches with, again, 4.5 inch tails, or 4.5 inch loops. So 9 inches, twist, place it inside. Because we've already measured the bottom loops at 4.5, all you have to do is just put your fingers in both and then pull. Do the same on this side. Pull. But we still need to measure the bottom at 9. Just like that. Second ribbon down. Let me look. Then we did the ring. This one. So this is 8.5 inch tail with 4 inch loops. So 8. Let's see. I don't know if we will have enough. I might have to open the other one. So we'll just see if we do or not. I don't think we will. Almost positive. Okay. So nope, not enough on that one. So we'll start with this one. That's why it always pays to make sure you have 2 rolls of ribbon. So you always have a backup that you never run out of. Because that would have been a shame. I would have had to pull the other ribbon off the other wreath. So this is 8.5. And then replace that ribbon on the other so that they do match. So 4 inches. Here, 4 inches here, okay, 8.5 inches here, okay, there's that one, 2 more to go. finished with the gingham, so this will be next. This will be 8 inches with a 4-inch loop. So I am taking down the ribbon length a 1/2 inch each time. And if you put them on, which did happen before, there might be some that are just a tad too long just based on where the bow is placed and maybe how the ribbon flops. You can trim them at that point.
Cheryl asked how much are the classes in the prep group and what nights? We'll probably discuss that at the end of the video, or?
Well, I can do it while I'm doing my bow. So it's $17 a month, or it's $170 a year if you want to pay the year up front. If you do the year up front, you are basically paying for 10 months and you get 2 months free. All the benefits are on the website, sorry. So you get discounts from all of our vendors that we have an arrangement with. You get materials list for all the public and private lives. Our classes are Sundays at 3 Pacific, 5 Central, 6 Eastern, and then Mondays at 5 Pacific, 7 Central, and 8 Eastern time. And then the replays are always available. So if you have vacation plans or something pops up, no worries, you don't miss out on anything. So you can sign up for both of those on my website at KatsCreationsNMore.com.
I pinned it.
Thanks. Yes, just click on the pin below. So yeah, we start 8 design classes in August. So tomorrow, which would normally have been a business class, is going to be another tutorial. So the last one is 7.5 inches for the tail and 3.5 inches for the loop. And then I'm not going to fluff this one on the board. We're actually going to be fluffing this one on the design.
Pam says, please Kat, see my messages I sent you. Well, reminder after the video.
Yeah, that's generally one of the first things I do is check my messages.
Sure, absolutely. You can sign up tonight. Just click on the link that I pinned at the bottom, the www.KatsCreationsNMore.com, and you have the option of either doing the year or the month, or the monthly.
I have the pin, which is deadly. When you can't find the pin, that's cause for concern. Okay, so I'm going to use beige pipe cleaner, just like this. And I'm going to pick the whole thing up. I find if you fold it in a loop ahead of time, it just kind of helps you coordinate, holding your stack and then just twisting everything together. Can't wait to see these two together. This is like what would you call it? Non-traditional, unconventional fall colors, because they're going more with like creams, tans, and ivories. Go around to my bottom one. Another reason why having our bows handy. So I'm just double checking for placement. So we are going to just take our pipe cleaner. This is a little meatier than the other one I did. So I just don't want my pipe cleaners to come out in the same spot. So this is where butter knife comes into play, because you can just take your butter knife, you can open up the gap and give it a little twist and just kind of follow your pipe cleaner all the way down, providing that it wants to go down. This is a pretty knotty.
You can just hook the pipe cleaner around the knife and push it through too.
I got it.
Yep.
Yep. It's just on the inside, there's a lot of really thick branches.
Yeah.
Outside, not so much. But I try to get the pipe cleaner to not go on the outside. Like I don't want it around the outside, I want it in between. So we're gonna go ahead and anchor this. Kept snagging on a little knot in the branch every time I tried to twist it. Okay, so I'm going to pull all the tails down. So that's my first thing. All the tails down. And I know right now it seems like, well, they're in his face. Well, we're going to pull the bow off to the side of it. So it's going to kind of go a little bit sideways. And then we're going to go up and down. So I'm going to alternate my 4.5s. So I've got the raised wide stitching at the bottom. So I'm going to pull it up on this side. I'm going to pull these two apart like this. So my gingham can go right in the middle. I'll fix Mr. Scarecrow here in a second. This bow kind of turned out a little bit different. I'm going to move him forward, not too far forward. Just kind of lightly tuck the bow behind his head just a smidge. I'm going to pull these all the way out to the side, just like this. So there is our bow on our Scarecrow. I almost said skeleton.
Yep.
So now we're going to add the white pumpkin. So that's going to go right here. So we're going to start building underneath in the hole. So I don't need a pick quite that large for a pumpkin. So we're going to go ahead and add this right in here. Big dab of Gorilla Glue. We're going to tuck that in right here. And now we're going to start building up from this pumpkin. So again, I've got said giant branch in the way. But now we're going to take our sour gum. And this is going to kind of go to the outside. I don't need a pick quite that large. So now I'm going to take this. Add that to the outside. We're going to add one to the bottom. The one with the 2. Down at an angle. Okay. I'm trying to get this so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So I'm going down here at an angle. So now we're filling up the space around the pumpkin. Just like so. Okay. Now we're going to come in with the brown leaves. Remember that came?
This looks so cute. Just got late. You generally have to watch the replay, no problem.
No worries.
Hi, Gail. She said love how full it is with all the different picks.
I know, right? I'm going to move you up and in. Now we're going to add this one to the other side. I'm going to keep moving my ribbon out of the way. Just like so. We'll use one at the top. Now we are going to, we have these, what are these called? These were, interesting, I don't recall. I'm trying to think what these were. So we're just going to be popping these in and around our bow. So we're going to just little pieces. Move the bow if you need to. They add just like the right amount of filler.
Like I said, I thought it said sour gum. No, those were the other ones, weren't they?
No, the big fluffy ones. These ones right here with the leaves on them. Those are the sour gum. These, they don't have an actual name for them on Hobby Lobby.
Look like a smaller version of the sour gum.
Right, but they're not. At least according to Hobby Lobby's website, they're not. But they look somewhat similar. So we'll take some of our wheat, kind of move that around. Have a couple of these up in the top. We'll add a couple to the bottom.
What do you think so far, gals? Give it lots of likes and loves. I think they look adorable.
You like them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we're gonna take, is it this big? This big or this big? I think they're both the same.
Acorn picks.
Acorn picks. So it's acorns and pithwares. So you're just gonna strip everything off the pick, just like so. So you just pull down because everything's all wrapped together, just like so. So there's a lot of picks in that one little piece. So for me, I'm pretty particular when I do my pit berries. These are nice pit berries because the wire goes all the way to the top. So we're gonna add these to our mix, just so we get more color, more dimension, more berries. It kind of keeps everything looking rustic. Trying really hard not to keep glue dragging back and forth. Okay. One more towards the bottom. Now we need to add our...
The scarecrows and the wreath forms are all from Hobby Lobby.
Yes, all in one place. It was one-stop shopping for me. But I had to say that I've had them for a while. So I knew the designs, like what I was going to be doing for this particular design for quite a while.
I'm gonna have to go get some more grapevines. Get stocked up. I'm getting low.
I know, we are definitely low on grapevines. Okay, we'll add acorns. There's another one. So it's 2 acorns and a pine. There's our acorn. Now we need our pine cone. So this is what I'm saying. I don't like it when pit berries just end. I would prefer to add a little bit of something to them. So make sure we pull all our glue threads through because we're kind of dragging it through there. So flip it. 1, 2. Snip this one off. Okay. Couple acorns.
Geez, that's so cute.
Thank you.
That'd be great if they sold as a pair.
Aww. Doesn't have to.
Yeah, I know.
Each one are cute on their own.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always trying to weave my own picks together. Here's our pine cone. This is kind of to the inside center. Right in here. Glue threads. So nice when I just do this. Pull all this off and throw everything back in the skillet. Okay. So, to make sure everything somewhat matches. Sure. I'm just pulling all the glue off.
Oh, bless you.
There we go. Okay. Open up all my loops. We have to add our small little acorn, which comes off of here.
Thank you, Rita. You said bless you.
Thank you. It's like I was trying really hard to make sure I didn't.
Tough trying to hold it.
I know, right? Okay. So this little acorn just goes inside the little oak leaves. We are going to glue it together and then add this to the inside of our bow at an angle. It's kind of like our little finishing touch, I guess. Make sure. Have one more little. It is. I just need one. Just one. Right inside. Okay. 2 more maple leaves to add. So these were the 2 that we cut off at the very beginning. That one and this one. And then the design will be complete. So these, since they're wired, will go in right under our bow. There's one. I'm showing you right here. Do the same to this one, so they're kind of arced a little bit. Now I'll have to fix my bow again. Shouldn't be that hard. This one, I'm actually gonna trim back just a smidge so it doesn't really impact him all that much. And let's put him up on the door and see what we see. So it's gonna be, this is almost where you wish you had two.
Do you want to hold? Well, do you want me to hold it while you hold it?
Well, I can hold it. Let me just make sure. I'm pulling out all my glue threads, because that's usually where you find them. Okay, so let's pull this. These are all the, as you're dragging your things across. So let's see. This is how they will go. So his and hers, which makes for a perfect front door. So this is the one we made today. This is the one that we made earlier. Do you guys think that we were able to pull this off? Okay.
Yeah.
It's like making their legs cross. But there you go. So that is our design for tonight. Basically double door grapevines. We just made them in two different sessions, but exactly the same way. So yeah, this kind of looks funky. I mean, I guess you could if you wanted to hang them both sides in.
Yeah, either way.
To different bows. It's entirely up to the client. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this tutorial. What questions do you guys have that I can answer for you that maybe I missed? What are you doing? Are you gonna hold it?
Yeah, I figured I would hold it.
You're gonna hold it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and all of you guys are answering questions, so great. Yeah, all the supplies for everything except the ribbons came from Hobby Lobby. The scarecrows, the pumpkins, all the fall florals. I picked these up like the beginning of summer when they first started putting out all their fall. I found the pair and then I was like, oh, that's such an awesome color for fall. Non-traditional, right? Has your creams, your ivories, a little bit of beige, a little bit of gold, a little touch of brown, but super cute. Either one, they're both available on the website. Let's see if I missed any questions that, yeah, a lot of you are like Lori. Lori, I think, was one of the people from our private group earlier that said she bought the same scarecrows. So she can't wait to make a pair for her double doors. So hopefully I have helped you guys be creative. A different design, right, for a double door rather than buying two identical wreaths. It's different, but they look like they are meant to go together. So, all right, everyone. Well, I appreciate you guys joining me for Sunday night. Private group members, you will see me tomorrow at 5 for a whole new design class, something new that we've never done before. So I look forward to that. If you guys would like to join, just go to KatsCreationsNMore.com. You can join us tomorrow. And everybody else, I'll see you next Friday at 5. Thanks for joining me. Have a great rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.